This is David with Corel Training.
This is Cassie Green from Apparelist.
This is Gordon and Firemark from the Entertainment Law Update.
And you're listening to
Two Regular Guys podcast.
Hosted by Terry Combs RG, Regular Guy, and Aaron Montgomery.
The place to be for industry news.
the best dad jokes on earth, along with relevant topics to apparel decorating.
Prepare for the wild.
All right, welcome into the show. It is Friday, January 30th, 2026. I'm Terry Combs. You can find me at terrycombs.com.
And I'm Aaron Montgomery from our Success Group and American Print and Supply. And this week, Terry, you and I are going to be talking about some just creative, hopefully simple things that you can put into play right away. Just on the heels of Long Beach, Terry, you had a great suggestion of how do we reach more buyers, right? And not just talking about buyers from the side of the aisle that you and I have been on, but how do the regulators reach more of their buyers? I know at the end of last week's show, we had promised you guys a different show, and we had a last minute cancellation or change. We haven't kind of gotten back on the same page, but we'll hopefully bring you that show in the not too distant future there. But we're excited to talk about this topic today, and I think we've got some really good ideas here, Terry.
I think we do too. I'm excited about it. And make sure you stick around for the secret sauce today. I'm going to be bringing the sauce. What more can I do with DTF? So, Aaron, I might just leave it right there. You'll have to wait till the end to see what more can I do.
What more can I do, Terry? I want to know. Okay, I will stay till the end then. And now you talked me into it. And I've got my... I have to pull it out here. I've got my marker ready to go. I've got my whiteboard in front of me, so I'm ready to take some notes, Terry.
And you have to stay to the end because Eric is traveling today, so you're pushing the buttons.
I am pushing the buttons. So if you guys will forgive me, we'll try to do Eric proud, but you can't replace Eric. So hopefully he's enjoying his trip, and I'm excited to hear all about it when he gets back. But
unlike most of the people on the East Coast who were at the Long Beach show last week, I said to Eric, "Hey, man, are you going to be able to get back to Pennsylvania?" And he's like, "I'm traveling the Southwest this week, so I'm dodging the snow."
Yeah. No, I think his post show travel idea actually is working out very well for him. So.
Did indeed. I know people who didn't get back until Tuesday from the show.
Yeah. I heard some challenging travel stories definitely coming out of post Long Beach. So I was not upset to miss that part as well. All right. Well, Terry, we've got our friend Teresa Hagel from ASI joining us here to bring us the news, and she's got some good stuff. And I love that we've got Teresa joining us. Like, we are part of a bigger world, right? And so sometimes people go, "Oh, well, that's promo products." Well, but there's such a tie-in. In fact, I think one of the news items today will show you how much tie-in that there is, and I'm excited to learn more from Teresa here, Terry. So, are you ready?
I'm ready. Let's hear the news.
All right, here we go.
Hi, everyone. It's Teresa Hagel with ASI, and I'm here to share the news for the day. First up, we have Awala finishing as the fastest growing search term in ASI's ESP product sourcing platform for the second year in a row. Pens and other classic categories continue to dominate the total ESP search rankings throughout 2025, while wellness and seasonal items surged. ESP searches for drinkware brand Stanley slid sharply in 2025, down about 50% for the year, falling below the fast-rising Awala, which surged again as the top-growing ESP search term for the year at plus 60%. Some other trends, seasonal and wellness trends, drove big swings. Searches spiked for fans and Halloween, while interest shifted from fidget spinners to broader fidget items and other wellness products like eye masks. And of course, staple categories remain dominant in the top 10 ESP searches, with pens leading the way again. If you check out that story, there's some really great graphics that show all of the top searches, and it's got a really a whole bunch of great information for everyone. Next up, Simpress subsidiary National Pen appoints Brian Kranick of BuildASign to CEO. This move comes amid a strategic initiative to combine the capabilities of National Pen, BuildASign, and Vistaprint. Longtime CEO Peter Kelly has resigned. So based in Austin, Kranick has spent the past decade at fellow Simpress subsidiary BuildASign, and he'll continue in his current role there while also leading National Pen. And then finally, we have some news. It's not really like a news headline, but I really wanted to highlight it because I think it's a great example of the convergence of print and promo. Last year, Cassie Green and I of Apparelist started a podcast called Branding Together. And we decided this year to kind of highlight this partnership with a special merch collection. The story about this just ran, called The Creative Decoration Techniques Behind the Branding Together Podcast Merch Collection. Essentially, we have the partnership between ASI and Printing United Alliance, and we have this monthly podcast called Branding Together. This is a version of the logo. And we basically worked with some suppliers, Stanley Stella and Atlantis Headwear. And we worked with a bunch of awesome decorators, and they came up with a whole bunch of different versions of the podcast logo, which are showcased in the winter issue of Counselor Magazine and online. And then throughout the rest of this month and into next month, Cassie and I are both sharing tutorials of how they created these really cool looks for us. So it's something that I think is really fun and worth checking out. And if you haven't watched our podcast or listened to it yet, I think you should. So that's the news for me.
I agree. I think you should. I can't. You know what? I will be remiss. I'll be the first one to admit I have not checked out their podcast yet. So I need to get that into my listening. You know, funny, Terry, for as long as we've been doing podcasting, I am not really a huge listener of podcasts. But that's one that I will definitely listen to and add. So
I'm anxious to hear that because both of them are a wealth of knowledge. So
yeah.
I'm anxious to hear that. I love the concept of it. That's really cool.
Yeah, I definitely love it too. So
and add to that, ASI telling us about trends. I mean, always interesting information from ASI about trends and what's happening in the marketplace, and people should be paying attention. It's all incredibly valuable information.
Yeah. And Terry, I'll be honest, that's definitely, obviously lots to love about what ASI is doing, but I think they get it to a point where, like, they're a data company, right? And they share that data in such a way that is so beneficial for us, right? They make it consumable for us. You talked about the fact that you can go check that out and get the graphs and understand what people are searching for and what they're looking for and whatnot, right? So valuable for business owners. So good stuff there today for sure, Terry.
Yeah, for sure.
But before we kind of move on, we also have a couple of quick, I don't know if they're news items. We just wanted to make sure that the regulators were aware and have a little discussion about it. So do you want to start that off for us, Terry?
Yeah, we just found out this week that GPX Irving, which would be March 12th through 14th, has been canceled. So the Graphics Pro Expo, Irving, Texas, that's been going on for quite a while, not happening. I believe the message on Instagram said we're reimagining this show, and so I thought that was an interesting occurrence already for a March show to say not happening. So
yeah.
What do you think about that, Aaron?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you were there last year or not, but it was a struggle. It was definitely not well attended show. And I'm not sure, everybody can point fingers in lots of different places, but the reality of it was the return on investment just wasn't there. So, I do think they're going through some changes. I know they've had some staff changes and things like that happening over there at GPX. because we kind of heard about it, but then their email that they sent out was kind of like, hey, sorry, we didn't tell people sooner, kind of thing. At least that was the tone that I got. So hopefully the reimagining just gives them a second to breathe, and let's come back bigger and better than ever, because they did indicate in the email that I saw that that was the plan, that it wasn't a permanent thing, that again, they're just trying to figure out how to make this a return on investment for everybody involved.
I've always thought that two industry shows in virtually the same location was always curious to me. We've got Impressions Expo Fort Worth. We've got GPX Irving. We've got Impressions Expo Long Beach. We've got GPX Long Beach.
Yeah.
It seems like there's a lot of marketplace out there that would love to go to a show that, and let's jump right into this too. Impressions Expo is surveying the industry about moving the Atlantic City show next year. It's in Atlantic City. It's all scheduled, all ready to go, but they're talking about moving it to, or keeping it in Atlantic City, moving it to the Poconos, moving it to Tampa, moving it someplace else. And man, there is a huge amount of the U.S. population that lives right there in that northeastern corner of the country. And I would hate to see that no longer being serviced. But a curious thing, because, in the first trade show I ever attended many decades ago was the Atlantic City show. So that show has been in that spot for decades upon decades. So it just makes you wonder about the shakeup that's happening in the industry, and let's be frank, new ownership of trade shows and their what they feel the purpose of a trade show is. And my fear is it's more profit than what does the industry need. But hey,
profit and purpose.
That's
because
my personal opinion.
Yeah. Because on the flip side of that, right, you've got the folks over at DAX who've expanded their show footprint. They're going to be in Dayton, Ohio. They're going to be in Tampa. I think it's Tampa, Florida.
Tampa,
and they're still committed to their 3 locations. They did move the Tinley Park out to Schaumburg, but last year that was the move that they made, and I think it was a solid move. It was
excellent move.
Busiest kind of Illinois show that DAX has had in a while, and moving
and moving the show to Minneapolis again.
Yeah, moving it back into Minneapolis outside. And I think people enjoyed maybe going out to Treasure Island, but also it was a trek, right? And so they're trying to figure out
we vendors who didn't necessarily want to rent a car to go there.
yeah, exactly. But I think that's just. I think everybody's trying something new, and sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. So, let's hold on, see what happens, and wish them all the best. But we just wanted to make sure that you guys, the regulators, were knew what was going on, right? Martha Taylor here, she's in the Dallas Fort Worth area, and so we didn't want her showing up in Irving and going, where is everybody?
Am I here on the right day?
That's right. And
we certainly wish the best, because Aaron, you and I have been giant proponents of live trade shows. Get in there, touch and feel, talk to people for as long as this show has been on the air. So we certainly wish success on any trade shows that are out there.
Yeah.
So.
I don't think that'll ever change, Terry. I know, for example, you guys there at Equipment Zone have embraced the art of the webinar and that kind of online opportunity. But I think you guys still understand that this is a tactile industry. So for me, I don't think that's ever going to change, right? I don't think we can ever get away from, now how that looks, how that goes, like you mentioned it, right? What is the purpose? What are they going for? Is it for the industry, or is it for profit? And I get it, right? Everybody needs to make a profit, but at what expense? So
well, and I'll tell you, I sent this to you, Aaron, right after the Long Beach show. A customer reached out saying, I decided at the last minute to go to the Long Beach show, and they wanted to charge me $99 to come inside. And he said, I'm not paying that. and because I'm just thinking about doing something. And when I say that trade shows lost track, their job is to put people in front of me as a vendor. Their job isn't to say, let's make $100 on this guy because he didn't pre-register. So, and hey, if I'm offending anybody out there, so be it. But your job is to bring people to us. That's the whole point. So we can share what we know. It's not to.
We're always offending people, Terry. It's fine.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. No, I mean, but I think that's a really good talking point, right? Like, yeah, what is the role? Like, because if they're charging that person $100, does that mean your booth cost goes down? I don't think that's been the case.
Yeah, exactly. Booth costs are up. All the costs are up, and anybody out there who's never worked a trade show, it's incredibly expensive to be there, and to have and it's that same rule too, that one person reached out and said, I turned around and walked away. 10 more never reached out to you to say, I got there and I turned around and walked away. That's the problem. It's not the one person. That's the one person shared with us. So
yeah. Chandler says they just don't like the truth, right? The truth is hard.
It's I could go on and on.
Yes. Let's move forward before Terry gets us kicked out of the industry completely. I'm just kidding, because this is normally my job, so I appreciate that Terry is carrying this flag. But Doug says, "Good morning, everybody from Los Angeles." We had Chuck checking in this morning. Good morning. So all of you guys that are tuned in, make sure that. I like this from Chuck as well. He says, if it offends someone, maybe they need to be offended. Yeah, absolutely.
Exactly right, Chuck.
I love it. So again, anyhow, just to kind of wrap that whole thing up though, Terry, yes, we do want them all to be successful. We see a need for all of them. Let's keep having these conversations so we can find the right solution, right? Because at the same point, right, it's not like we don't want these folks to, yes, they have to make a living as well. Otherwise, they are not going to be any shows, right? So we all can't just go, I want everything for free and then expect it to keep showing up. But at the same time, let's figure out, how we can do this in a more collaborative, cooperative way.
And let's figure out, let's not blame the person who's not coming to the show. Let's figure out why we're not offering something for them to want to come and see. So.
Exactly. And that lands on all of us, right? As vendors, as educators, as, the regulators, right? Like, we're all part of making this what it is, right? So we can make it great, or we can complain about it and let it get worse. So, All right. Well, appreciate the regulators being here. For those of you guys that are tuned in live right now, make sure that you're checking in and saying hello. And we want you to be part of this conversation that Terry and I are going to have. We've got some ideas, but we know you guys have plenty of ideas. And Terry, you know me, I truly, deeply believe in my heart of hearts that a rising tide does lift all boats. And so the more you share, the more you're going to get, right? We have to give to receive. It's a hard thing, but it's something we need to all learn.
Exactly right.
Yeah. So, all right, Terry. Well, let's get back to what people really show up for, not our offending people, but I know most of you are here for the dad joke, right? So is that true?
Aaron, you have a good one today, so let's hear it.
All right, here we go. All right, Terry. So what do you call a nun who sleepwalks?
I don't know. What do you call a nun who sleepwalks?
A Roman Catholic. So
that's for our podcast listeners, Roman and roaming.
Yes. Yeah. I did not, because Eric's not here, we did not have the banner on screen, but I will put it in the comments and just use that as our banner. So just so you can see it, right? A roaming versus Roman. Yeah. Thank you. So
I love it. That's a good one. All right. Before we dive in, we want to thank everybody for checking out the Two Regular Guys podcast. We still need your voices. We would love to have the regulators participate in our show intros. Go to osg.link/intro, read a few sentences, be a part of every show. Don't be left out. We are always looking for new guests. So if you or anyone you know would like to join us, go to calendly.com/2, the number 2, regular guys to book a future episode, or email us at info@tworegularguys.com with your show ideas. If you are listening to the podcast version of the show, we would appreciate you sharing the Two Regular Guys podcast with all of your industry friends so they can become regulators too. And we would appreciate you giving us a review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Amazon Podcasts, YouTube Podcasts, wherever you do your podcast listening, we are there. And if you're watching us live, please join in with your comments and your questions. And Aaron, I shared it's great now because when you start talking about your podcast at a trade show, people go right on their phones and they find it and they pin it. And so, hey, any new listeners from the Long Beach show, we appreciate you guys very much, and hopefully you'll learn a few things and maybe share with us as well.
Yeah, absolutely, definitely. So welcome. All right, Terry. Well, let's dive into this. A couple quick comments from the regulators before we actually dive in, though. Sandy said, "I miss being able to stock up on supplies at trade shows." Yeah, I remember those days, right, where people were walking out with. It's tough, right? That's a tough thing, because the other thing that then started happening is all of the states started locking down pretty heavy, and with the taxation and stuff like that, they wanted to get their piece of the pie, and that's a accounting nightmare if you're in that state, and then now you have to file in that state, and it gets it's a mess. So challenges for sure, but yeah, that I remember those days. And Mark, to the dad joke, yes, I do apologize. I know that's a head slap, but Chandler
oh my
or wow.
All the way to I love it.
All right, well, let's talk about this, Terry. Let's get into this. You brought this up, and I think this was a great idea. You were coming off the Long Beach show last week, and we were just kind of internally, and I love how these things just kind of start happening. We're like, hey, what should we talk about? I don't know. And then I was talking about this, and oh, well, let's talk about that on a podcast. Weird. But like, how can we reach potential buyers? Maybe it's the ones that we're already working with. Maybe it's, future ones that we haven't. And so I know that, we both have come up with some ideas that we want to share. But as I mentioned, we want to hear from you guys that are tuned in live right now. What are some creative ways that you guys reach out? Because we want to talk about ways that are maybe creative, that you can reach out without feeling salesy. I don't know. For me, that's tough, right? Like if I feel salesy, I shy away. Or what really happens in today's world is it just gets lost in the noise, right? I've got 27 different ways that you can contact me on my phone, from Messenger to messages to text to voicemail to email to, all of those things, direct message. Like, how do we not get lost in the noise? So we're going to try to get through as many of our ideas as we can. There may be some that, knowing us, right, do we have enough? And so we kept adding, and then we're like, oh, that's 3 shows actually. But
at one point you did say this might be 2 shows.
Yeah, exactly. So,
well, and Aaron, let me add this. We a lot of times we give ideas not to say do exactly what I do, but to kind of get those juices flowing, about your own ideas. So,
I love that.
These are stimulating concepts.
Yes, definitely. And so that's why we want to hear from you guys, right? Let's just get as many perspectives and ideas as we can. And yes, I always say this in our success group, Terry, right? We want to look at things not as a prescription. It's not you go do this exactly as it is. Take it as inspiration, right? Like, oh, cool.
Yes.
Like that part, I'm going to make that work for me and tweak it like this and do something a little bit different, so it's unique to me and my strengths, right? So, So anyhow, Terry, let's dive in with your first idea. I love.
Okay, this is a nuts and bolts one. So, Aaron, and our listeners who've been listening for 13 years now, knocking 14 on the door.
Actually, next week is the start of our 14th season, by the way.
Crazy.
Yeah.
That's super exciting.
Yeah.
What are we gonna do for 15? But anyway, between now and then,
we gotta get there first, Terry.
My philosophy for running the production floor, my philosophy for running business has always been keep it simple. And so this is a simple technique that has served me well for a long, long time. So Here's a way for me to touch my current customers without sounding salesy. And I know it's 2026. Is it okay to say touch my current customers? I don't know.
Digitally, just digitally, Terry. Okay.
Digitally. So in all my forms, any paperwork I have, I say, we hold your screens for 90 days. And it doesn't have to be screens. It could be digitizer. It could be whatever.
Yeah.
Whether I hold those screens or not, that is beside the point. At about 80 days, rather than me calling and saying, hey, do you want to buy some more shirts? I say, hey, I just want to give you a heads up. We hold your screens for 90 days and that date's coming up. I'm not selling you anything. I'm being a friend with a reminder. I'm helping you.
Mhm.
I'm not selling you anything. Aaron, you'd be shocked how many times people would say, we've been talking about getting more of those shirts. I mean, it's just
Yeah.
most of the people you talk to, that's what they say, but they might never have called. And, we've talked about this on the show before. Most of our customers, most of our buyers are not professional buyers. They are business owners just like you and me, and they get caught up in day to day. And so those T-shirts we sell by the cash register at the restaurant, they're suddenly out of smalls and extra larges, and nobody ever calls to replenish because we're busy doing other things. So let me start off our show with this. Keep it simple, but keep in touch. So keep in touch with those customers you have. It is far easier to keep customers we have than to bring new ones on board. And too many of us forget about it. We get too focused on getting new customers, and we take the customers we have for granted. So while we're working to gain new customers on this side, some of the old ones are slipping out the other side because you gotta nurture those customers you have. So
Yeah.
that's my first thought.
Ooh, I love that. In fact, I got that mic drop moment. Since Eric's not here, I get to push the buttons and stuff. And keep it simple, but keep in touch. Terry Combs, and you can give him credit once, and then you can take it as your own. That's how it works.
Exactly.
With regular guys. Yeah.
On the last show of our 13th year.
I love it. What a great idea, Terry. And I think that's it, right? That's the creativity. Why I love that you started off with that idea is that's what this is all about. How can you be creative enough to, I was taught by my first sales manager, and this was something also that I carried with me for a long time and still do. How can you leave the conversation with a good reason to reach back out, right? Whether you get the sale or not, like leave yourself with great. Thanks for taking the time. I'm going to touch base with you in a couple of months if that's okay. Right. Because now I've just said, okay, now I'm going to touch base with you in a couple of months and just kind of see where your business is at. I'm not calling to sell you. I'm telling you right now, in a couple of months, you're going to hear from me again. And that does a couple of things, right? It gives them the space if they feel like, hey, this isn't going to be for me, that for them to go, you know what, I'm good. I'll reach out to you when I need you. And then you go, okay, cool. I take them off my list. But when you've said, hey, I think, you've given yourself a built-in way here to, again, keep in touch, and it's simple and creative. So thank you for that. Awesome.
All right.
All right.
Next.
So my first one here is just everything that you're doing inside of your business is content. I don't know if we know this, but I hear, I get to work with a group of handmade sellers. This is funny how this has evolved, right? So I actually facilitate a mastermind for these amazing business owners that create handmade products. Most of them are wreaths, right? I didn't know there was this whole community of wreath makers out there, but they are amazing. They focus on Etsy as their sales platform. And there's a common statement that the lady who kind of is in charge of this, that I'm doing this with, Lauren Kilgore, who we've had on our show before, everything is content, right? And I think most of us don't share our business enough on social media because we don't know what to share, or we think we have to make a big production out of it. We don't have time for that. But here's the deal. That's not true, right? Every finished order, I came up with like 5 pieces of content that you could share from one finished order, right? And there's probably many, many, many more, but just a quick photo of the finished product that you're proud of creating. Cool. Boom. Love it. Terry, you've talked about the fact that even to this day, when that last screen opens up, you still have that aha moment, right? Take a picture of that and share that aha moment on Facebook, on Instagram, on TikTok, whatever your platform is, right? So there's one. The second one is creating just a short story about the customer, right? Like, you're just sharing them, so it's not salesy, but you're just saying, hey, I really enjoyed working with this customer, and here's what we created for them, right? It could be as simple as just what lesson did you learn in that job, right? Was there something that you or your company was able to take from that opportunity to work together, right? Like, I've had customers that I've worked with, and as you start working with them, you learn things about them that you never realized. And again, that aha moment, or that light bulb that goes off here, is content that's going to do well when you take it over to social media. Maybe it's a clip or a reel or something like that of just the process of going from blank to decorated. And that's not that complicated either. Take a picture of the blank product, take a picture a couple steps along the way, take a picture of the final product, and you've got a reel right there. You add whatever Facebook suggests or TikTok or whatever suggests for music, Instagram, and there you go. You've got content. And then one of my favorite ones is, when I love seeing this out of the decorators that I get to work with, is just them highlighting, right? So maybe you did shirts for a fundraiser and you're highlighting that customer. It's not about your product. It's just tagging them and say, supporting their efforts, what they're trying to get out into the world. Right. And once you tag them, that then gives them an opportunity. You're not saying they have to. It just gives them an opportunity to go, man, I loved working with Terry. Thank you for making those shirts. We love them, that kind of thing. And again, all those things, it took me way longer to explain than it would have taken you to actually post that on social media.
Well, yeah, I think too that I think people get scared because they see those folks that have 5 million followers and their slick presentation. It doesn't have to be a slick presentation. I've said on here before where people say nobody wants to see me screen printing, and I'm like, I've been screen printing for decades, and anytime I'm on Instagram and I see somebody screen printing, I absolutely stop and watch the whole thing. It's not like I don't know how to do it.
Yeah,
I
you kind
have
of
to
teach
watch
it.
It's like you go into a trance. But if you're scared about doing this, hire an intern, and it could be a high school kid, it'd be a college kid that's going to get some marketing credit, and help them help you get started with all of this. But Aaron, I'm going to piggyback on this and share a simple Instagram story about a good friend of ours, a good friend of the show, Mel Lay, and how she got started in her screen printing business. For anybody who doesn't know Mel Lay, she runs the All Made Apparel division for Sanmar. But Mel Lay was just like you and me and everybody here that's listening. She wanted to start a business because she didn't want to put her 2 young kids into daycare. And so what did she do? She started a screen printing business in her garage. And Mel, being the outgoing person she is, she started doing videos. And her first Instagram, by the way, was all the crates in her garage, and it said, "Go on this journey with me." And people are like, "Yeah, I want to go on the journey. Let's see this. Let's see you put this equipment together. Let's see you printing." And so Mel's posts weren't slick, professionally done videos. It was a 10-second video where she's holding up a shirt in her garage and says, "The kids are in bed. It's midnight. Look what I'm printing. Isn't this cool?" And she built a following with that, to the point where, and I won't go into the whole story where one of her graphics was knocked off by a big corporation, but she made it all the way to Shark Tank by holding up shirts saying, "What do you guys think about this print? I just did this." And Mel was doing 1 and 2 color prints. mostly youth garments with an edge. That was her niche in the marketplace.
Yep.
And she built a business saying, "Hey, it's midnight. Look what I just printed." So it's and Aaron, I was just thinking when you were talking about showing your customers. Well, when that customer's friends see that, they're going to say, "Well, if Joni buys from this guy, I feel warm and fuzzy. I want to buy from him too. If she's comfortable, I'm comfortable." So there's all kinds of benefits to everything that you said in that micro content for real jobs. So
Yeah, I love it. I love it. And yeah, I appreciate you highlighting Mel's story because it is great, right? And yes, Mel was outgoing. And maybe some of you are thinking, well, I'm not outgoing. You don't have to be in front of the camera, right? You
right.
just show the graphic. You don't have to be in front of the camera, right? And so don't let any of that get in the way. I would suggest just share, right? Share often. It's not about selling, it's about sharing, right? That's what social media is. The selling is a byproduct of just sharing your story and allowing, like you said, Joni's friend or whoever that is down the road, they might connect with that and say, yeah, I want to work with Terry too. Right. So, all right.
And no, but by the way, nobody wants to have you come on and say, "Here's what Joni printed. If you'd like to buy this too," nobody wants to hear that.
Nobody wants to hear that for sure. But talk about why it was important to Joni and talk about why it's important to you, right? Like, man, I loved being able to support said, that, like in Mel's case, right? It was personal to her. She had kids and she didn't like the available clothing that they had, and so she said, I'm going to make my own. And this is why. And so people connected with that part, not because they wanted to buy the $25 used shirt or whatever it costs, right? I'm just making up a number. So, yeah. Okay. Terry, I am going to piggyback off of your piggyback. There was a piggyback off of mine. Is that, I don't
Perfect.
Okay. All right, good. So I brought this up as one of the 5 potential content ideas out of a finished job, but you could even take this one step further and make it like a full pipeline of, I termed it a customer spotlight pipeline, and just make that a regular thing every Friday. Right after the Two Regular Guys podcast, I'm going to highlight one of my customers, right? And just as an opportunity to share who they are, why they do what they do, what you know about them. They're going to get visibility and you get shareable content. You get, again, you highlight them, you tag them in it. And, that's going to allow their friends, the other people, prospects to see proof that you're engaged with your customers and you're somebody that can be trusted, right? Because you're not just a transaction, right? They're actually people that you care about. So I think you can, again, we talked about this being about inspiration, right? So what can you do to take that one step further? And I think, that's a great way to take this idea of highlighting your customers one step further and make it a regular thing.
I love that. And everybody wants to see real people out there using that product or seeing that product or having that product made for them. Everybody wants to hear real world stories that go along with it. So that's a perfect piggyback of a piggyback of a story.
And then, Terry, one of the other things that sometimes I hear in those things, right? Like people go, "Oh, well, nobody ever shares me," right? There, or that kind of thing. It's like, turn that around. Are you out there enough? Like, I think after you started sharing your other customers every Friday and you do it for 13 years, right? We could have said that about Two Regular Guys podcast. There were times, especially early on, where like, why are we doing this? Like, what's the point? We're not getting anything out of it. I think could have been an easy thing for us to say.
Right.
Lives changed. We went to different places, different jobs, whatever. And we stuck with the fact of Terry and I want an opportunity to be able to talk about an industry that we love and care about. And so beyond that, we'll let the chips fall where they might, right? Like, we know what our limitations are. We know that we're not always at the cool kids table or whatever, but we're going to keep showing up. And I think that's served us very well, Terry. So,
Well, and Aaron, and the way this podcast evolved was us sitting in the Weston Sports Bar at the Weston Hotel in Long Beach, having conversations with vendors, with customers, talking about the industry. And when you said this would make a great podcast, we were already having these conversations. We just went public. So folks out there could be doing the same thing.
yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. All right. I'm just checking time and everything like that. So David had a suggestion, David Haynes from Corel Trainer. You want to get to that one next?
Yeah. Let's see.
Okay. So David said a way that has worked for them that's been helpful in reaching out to customers and getting broader reaches. He says referral bonuses have helped. If they don't believe in your product or service, they will not refer. And if they do, they will. And then they get a little something for doing so. He says, important though, they have to mention the person referring, right? So again, you can't just make it like, oh, good luck, I think is what he's saying. There, you have to have a process, right? You have to say, okay, well, who referred you, right? And that type of thing. So what are your thoughts on that, Terry?
100%. It's something fairly easy to do, and David, those guys, David and Clay, have probably made it very easy. Just mention the person referred, and we're going to share a little thank you bonus with them. And there's nothing better than a referral from somebody who's using the product. So it's ideal.
Yep, absolutely. And you're exactly right. David and Clay do make that very easy, and they do what they say they're going to do, and they take care of the people that are referring them. So I love that, David. Thank you for sharing that. What else do you guys have out there? What other ideas do you guys have? Regulators out there? Here we go. Doug's got one for us. How about creating a sample for a specific business and knocking on their door?
I will attest to that, because when I first got started, I didn't have a lot of business. So when things were slow, I would grab somebody's logo, put it on a shirt, walk in the door and hand it to them and say, I just wanted to introduce myself. I will tell you this, and at some point in time, I would have gotten zero, but every single time I ever did that, I got some kind of an order. Every single 100% success with it. And of course, that's, this is impossible over time, but it brought me a lot of business, and it brought me repeat business. I would go to car dealerships and especially car repair shops and just candy stores. I would just, say, hey, I just want to introduce and I invested in it. I made a film positive. I made a screen. I printed a shirt, and what was my real cost? Especially if things are slow, it's very minimal, but put it in their hands. My business card, had a price sheet with me, and had a conversation, and got to meet a lot of local businesses, and created a base of customers out there beyond what I was already doing. So excellent idea, Doug.
Yep, absolutely. And David Haynes agrees, says spot on, Doug. I recommend this to everyone trying to get more business. So not to always be the contrarian, Terry, but it's kind of what I do. I just want to give you guys something here to think about, though. Understand that, creating a specific sample for a business and knocking on their door is an awesome idea. I love that idea. We need to understand that there's cost involved in that. And we also need to understand the scalability of that, right? Like if you're somebody that's trying to get a lot of business because your margins are really thin, that's going to be a tough way to go about it long term. Yes, it's going to get you started. But I think, the thing about Doug is Doug's not the low, he's about quality and really good products. And so it makes a ton of sense. I know Doug a little bit. And so it makes a ton of sense for Doug, because it gets the product in their hand. It makes them be connected to it emotionally. And they're going, yes, I want it. I don't care how much it costs, right? Because it's such a great product. right? And I don't know if they're saying, I don't care how much it costs. It's got to be within reason. But the
Right.
reality is we have to understand that, right? So if you just went and, knocked out a bunch of stuff and you just threw it at somebody's door and just hoped for business, that might be a little bit more challenging, right? You got to
Yeah.
be willing to ask for the order. So talk to that, Terry, real quick.
Well, it's a great way, especially for a new business. It's like a new restaurant opening, and they walk around every business within 5 blocks of them, and they give them a coupon for a free meal.
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know,
Yep.
it's the same concept. Let me get you in the door, and giving them that T-shirt is to get you in the door. Our buddy Jay Bassell talks about doing something like this, but on a larger scale, putting together a box with a shirt and a koozie and a different things and to kind of introduce you to me and mailing them out. That was kind of a big thing that we talked about during COVID, where
Yeah.
you couldn't knock on people's doors, but
Yeah.
it's a great way to get your business rolling. I'll say
Absolutely.
that.
Yes, I agree. And, so my point was really just to, make sure people are aware that your business is still in business to make money. So giving them a shirt with their logo on it's great. The hope is that in that first order, they're paying for that shirt, right? That was my only point. So
Right.
again, not trying to be contrarian. Actually, that was more of a joke. All right. Terry, I'm looking at time. I want to be able to tell Eric that it's his fault that we run long.
Okay.
But, what do you think?
Where are we skipping to?
Well, I don't know. Does anybody else have any other thoughts in from the regulators? I think we've got a couple other good ones, but I think they might bring out some further discussion that might make us run long. We can also get to the sauce. I'm really excited about that. So your call. We're kind of making this up on the fly here.
Let's tuck the rest of these into our back pocket and build another show. How's that?
Gotcha. I agree. I think that's the way to go. And yeah, we'll go from there. So. All right. Well, then why don't we go ahead and slide into you let us know. And again, we won't have the great graphics on screen and whatnot, but where's Terry heading? What's coming up? What's the cool stuff happening in Terry's world right now?
Yeah, knocking on the door. My complete screen printing business course. My first class of 2026 will be March 21st and 22nd. Atlas Screen Supply in Chicago.
Nice.
Equipment Zone will be at the Atlantic City Show at Impressions Expo, March 26th, 28th. I've probably been banned from there now.
I was going to say, you might want to be checked to make sure you can still get in the door.
Right. And watch for all my upcoming events at terrycombs.com. How about you, Aaron?
Yeah. So for me coming up here, I've got Small Business Saturday happening tomorrow. It happens at noon Central Time, and it's going to be a discussion about why motivation is only the start of achieving your goal. Yes, motivation gets us excited and hopefully gets us into action, but achieving goals is really more about structure and commitment. And that's what's going to carry you through when, you're motivated to go out and try to reach that sales goal. And then you get that first customer that's having a bad day that tells you to, go pound sand. Motivation kind of goes like this. And so if that's all we're holding on to, it's going to be really hard to get back up. And so the point that we're going to talk about tomorrow is, if you've ever started out strong and then stalled out, this will be an episode that you want to tune in tomorrow. And so you can find that at liveosg.com, which is my YouTube page. And then while you're there, just subscribe and make sure that you check out the other content that I do. Small Business Saturdays. I think I'm getting closer to the 300 range with that particular show. So hopefully, I believe there's lots of good content there for you to check out. And then after that, Terry, actual in-person stuff that I've got coming up, I'm getting excited because it's coming on. I don't know if it's excitement or anxiety, but we'll just go with excitement for now. But DAX Kansas City is happening February 20th and 21st at the KCI Expo Center, which is right near the airport there in Kansas City. And I'm actually riding the train there again this year, Terry. So I'm excited about that for sure.
Awesome.
But
I love the way DAX has moved these shows to be easier for everybody to get to. So.
Yeah, it's super easy. So I'm actually teaching 2 classes there and then get to facilitate one more. So my 2 classes are Friday, February 20th at 10:30 in the morning. the myth of everyone is my customer. I just want to kind of break down that myth a little bit and share a clear vision of who you serve and how to figure that out, how you can attract more of the right customers. And then right after that, you just hang out in the same room with me there. And at noon on February 20th, that Friday, I'm going to be presenting Bye Bye Burnout, and just ways that we can prevent burnout before it starts, and create some sustainable habits that will keep your creativity and business thriving. And then the next day, I will be facilitating a session with my friends there at American Print and Supply with Rob and Sean. And we're going to be talking DTF 101, from file to finished print, what actually matters. So we're going to walk through some real world DTF workflow, from artwork and software to decisions about film, ink, color, application, and just highlight where we've seen problems arise, and, kind of give you guys some tips about the ways successful shops have reduced their reprints, their wasted time, and their frustration. So that's happening on February 21st, Saturday morning at 8:30 in the morning. So that might be a class that you would really like too, Terry, because we're going to hit on this production idea here.
I love it.
In fact, we might need to bring you in to help teach at one point, but that'll be for a later time. Okay. And then beyond that, I will be then right after that, I come home on the train on Sunday. And then on Monday, I get on an airplane and head to Las Vegas for the International Personalization Expo, formerly APA. And that'll be happening February 24th through the 27th at the Horseshoe in Las Vegas. And so if you go to personalizationpros.org, you can check it out. Not only am I looking forward to a great show there, Terry, but I get to moderate a panel called Brand, Business, and Growth, Strengthening B2B and B2C Relationships. And there's 3 amazing panelists that I get to basically interview. Samita Patel of Homebound Custom Decor, Kurt Heim of Heim Awards, and Josh Perry of Perry Designs. And then I'm just going to grill them as much as possible about how they position their brands for impact, identity, and how do they engage their ideal customers. So kind of the core of the idea I want to get to is how do they balance marketing effort with operational readiness. So
I love it. I love those panels. There's nothing better than talking to a whole panel of people who are professionals in the industry. It's awesome.
100%. So, and then Eric is somewhere in the Great Southwest, avoiding the snow of his new East Coast home. And Martha said,
"Can't wait forever, Eric."
Yeah, that's right. That's right. You're gonna have to go back to the East Coast, buddy. Planes, trains, and automobiles. Martha said. So yes, that's my life right now, and it's a good life. I'm excited to be back into the travel a little bit, and I think my family is excited too. I don't know why. But all right, well, good stuff. So we'll have Eric catch us up when he's back next week, and I'm sure he's got some good stuff on the horizon. So we'll share that.
I want to hear what his wife has to say about shoveling the driveway herself. So
good point. All right, well, we'll find out. All right. Well, Terry, you ready for some secret sauce?
Let's do the secret sauce.
All right, here we go.
All right, what more can I do with DTF? So sometimes we talk here on Two Regular Guys about increasing your offerings without investing in new equipment or new processes, without spending money. That's the bottom line. Here's one of those opportunities if you're already either printing DTF transfers or jobbing out DTF production. What more can I do with DTF? I think we all know that by now that you can print a DTF transfer on or heat apply onto most any garment fabric, from 100% cotton to 100% polyester. The beauty of this product is its versatility, but are you getting the most out of your DTF transfers? Besides printing the front or the back of a shirt, I'm going to assume you can print on the sleeves, but if not, you can print on the sleeves. A sleeve is a great place to add your logo or your customer's logo. I used to offer discounts for allowing my logo on the sleeve of the shirt. I had 100% success making that request. Now, I didn't say to the college bookstore, where that my biggest customer, that could I put my logo on the sleeve, but I said it to the archery club. I said it to the PTO, people like that, and for a discount, my logo on the sleeve. The next garment location is adding a size label inside the shirt or even outside on the back. I was talking to a decorator recently who said, I don't put my label inside the shirt. I put my customer's label inside the shirt. And I thought that was a brilliant a value added option that that customer was offering. Decorating shirts for a business, add 4 or 6 small transfers onto the same image and print those on coasters. You know, the cork-like porous kind? Your cost is minimal, but I'll guarantee this customer will remember and appreciate you, and those coasters are going to be sitting right there on their desk. You can buy 50 of those cork coasters on Amazon right now today for $16. Outside of embroidery, DTF has taken over a big slice of the decorated cap marketplace. But are you decorating the mesh sides? If you're not, you're missing an opportunity, again, for value added. They look really cool, and almost no one is doing it. So you could be unique in a world of same old, same old. Field notebooks. You know those tan-colored craft paper blank notebooks for notes and sketches and anything you want to scribble down. You've seen nerds like me carrying them around trade shows and conferences, or as a true fact, carrying it around Central Park for taking notes for my next book. True story. They're porous and perfect for a DTF transfer application. Your customer's logo or a graphic on the front, and a subtle logo or your own small logo on the back. You can buy 4 dozen on Amazon today for $20. I checked last night. It's a great and useful product that won't go in a drawer or in the trash. People will use them and remember you for it. So I'm sure listeners can share dozens of other products they apply DTF transfers to. I say this, if it has a porous texture and you could fit it on a flat heat press or a rounded cap press, let's decorate it. Add value, add profit. That's my secret sauce for today.
That's an awesome secret sauce, Terry. Good stuff.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, very good stuff. I can't wait to, I need to go back, and I see you've been spending some time on Amazon though. So all hail Stan, right?
I was just thinking, how much do these cost? And then I got down the rabbit hole. So,
Yeah. So I'm sure you bought something that'll be delivered in moments, but
I bought something that's delivered tomorrow for my my granddaughter's birthday. So.
There you go. All right. I love it. I love it. All right. A couple quick notes from the regulators here. Ramona says, morning guys. Sorry I missed most of the show. I'll watch from the start soon as available. Y'all have a good weekend. But Warren jumping in here with an idea. Warren Warbett, who we've had on the show not too long ago, actually said, easiest way to stay in touch is to pick up the phone and call, or you could send an email or drop a real letter in the mail. All you have to say to the person, I'm just calling to see how you're doing. How are your kids? How's your life? Whatever. Just don't bring up anything work related. It's that simple. Who wouldn't reply to that? There you go. There you go.
Well, Aaron, what was that session that we went to at ThreadX where they said 84% of people have to work up the courage to make any phone call?
Yeah. And yes, that was in relation to millennials that they
correct.
Yeah, but same is true.
Which means your customer is going to be all that more surprised that you called.
All right. Well, we're right on time, Terry. This is incredible. I'm sure I could stretch it and be out of time, but so Terry, we have come to the close of another show. Thank you for the great idea. And I've got our next week's show pulled up here, Terry. So all good there. But yeah, thanks for that great discussion. And thanks to the regulators for their ideas. David from Corel Trainer, Doug, everybody who participated in the show today, Martha, Chandler, Warren, whoever I missed there for sure, Terry. So great show today.
Absolutely. And we also want to always thank our show producer, Eric Campbell, even though he's not here today. He's out working hard, and we appreciate everything you do for us, Eric.
Absolutely. Thank you, Eric, and can't wait to have you back. Well, it'll be great to have you back with us next week. Speaking of next week, Terry, we do have Dean Biscan, and I think I'm getting his last name right, but we'll verify that next week. And we're going to talk about, we're not sure, right? Like we've got an idea, but we're going to talk through just production. I think some other things like that. And but we're excited to get Dean on and go.
Dean jumped on the show 2 weeks ago saying basically, I'm back. Right.
Yep, absolutely. So great to have him back in the industry, and we're going to touch base, and we're noodling a couple of different show ideas. So you'll have
Perfect.
to tune in next week to find out.
All right. Until then, I'm Terry Combs. He's Aaron Montgomery.
And that was the Two Regular Guys.
Here we go. We're out.
Awesome.
Thank you for tuning in to this week's episode of Two Regular Guys. We're here because of listeners like you, and we're so grateful to have you on this journey with us. For more valuable insight, be sure to visit our website, 2regularguys.com, and join the conversation on our Facebook page. And hey, if you or someone you know has expertise, a unique perspective, or a story worth sharing, we'd love to have them as a guest on the show. Just reach out. Remember, success in this industry isn't just about the equipment you own or the techniques you've mastered. It's about the mindset you bring and the connections you build. Keep learning, stay curious, and don't be afraid to think differently. Keep pressing on, and we'll catch you on the next episode of the Two Regular Guys.